So, it's been a minute, and through any journey, whether it's a manifestation journey or a healing journey, and really those two things are kind of hand in hand, um, it's really good to have time to integrate. So, just a little reflection of where I've been. So today is April 27th, and I really just started this journey in my journal this month, early in April. I believe it was April 2nd. So it hasn't been very long. And it was nice to take a little pause and let things integrate in whatever way they needed and wanted to. And I'm in this curious space right now where I it might be a little bit new, where I take my own advice, which is fun. But when I notice myself giving advice to somebody else, I then take it myself. I'm like, okay, Shannon, like you want this too. So something I thought to myself, I didn't give this advice out loud, but it was an advice that I would have shared is, so I have my journal, the Embodied Law of Attraction journal. Hilariously, it's not on the desk with me. Uh, Fourth edition, Shannon White, available on Amazon, or just catch me in Telegram where we're doing this stuff live. All the links are in the notes. Um, I have that journal, and I also have a booklet that I give away for free that is the 5 steps to ecstatic manifestation. And if you repeat those steps, you will manifest, period. And the advice that I wanted to give to somebody recently was, which of these steps are you bypassing or ignoring? Like, it's one thing to know them intellectually, and it's another to just kind of check it off the mental list, but never have actually done it. So I'm going to cover those today just very briefly and speak about the one that I don't know about skipped, like this process is part of that, but the one I want to get into today that will help bring even deeper clarity and embodiment of what I'm wanting to call in. Now, this recording is going to be a little bit different because I'm going to be doing the process live on here. So there's going to be a combination of teaching and doing the process, and there may be some pauses and things like that. So if you're listening, just be aware that that is a potential and a probability as I go forward, because I know it can be weird to listen to podcasts or things like that and there just be like a open space, open air. So you're probably going to get some of that today. But I want to tell you the 5 steps and tell you the one that I want to get into today. So the first one is clearing your space. Now, I have a graphic which I could pull up, and maybe I will. Okay, here is the graphic. So clearing the space is a combination of two things. That's not exactly what this is saying. But it is both getting into your parasympathetic nervous system, or on this graphic, it would be your creation body and potential body, and also tracking. So I'm going to tell you, there is not a single person in the world who has something that you want in the way that you want it who has not done some version of tracking. And when I say tracking, I mean paying attention to what is active, like what you're actively doing now, what you're already doing. So this isn't like the desire, this isn't the dream world. This is like what's true now. Every person who has something that you want in the way that you want it has done that at some point. They have been intentional. They have paid attention to their reactions and their behaviors and their patterns. So, like, these two things are how you clear the space. And when your space is tight or full, tight from being in sympathetic or full from being in like just living out all these unconscious patterns, you don't have room for the new thing. So this graphic is specifically about sympathetic and parasympathetic. So we're calling sympathetic in this graphic the survival body and the parasympathetic the creation body. You can switch from one to the other in 90 seconds. You do not need a lifetime. You do not need an hour of breathing every day. You do not need like just ongoing constant attention. Doing 90 seconds to 3 minutes at a time of whatever these practices are that help you switch trains your body throughout the day to be able to move through stress. So this is why you care, okay? This graphic right here is why you care. When you are in survival body or sympathetic or fight or flight, this is where stress, urgency, fear, and hyperfocus live. Your brain is working from the prefrontal cortex. Oh, excuse me. Your prefrontal cortex is downregulated. Your brain is in the amygdala, and you have linear problem solving skills. And this is where I think it says this later, it's like the all or nothing thinking happens here. Shallow, fast, chest-based breath, constricted blocked meridians, tight chakras, narrowed binary thinking, survival based. So that's the binary thinking, that, this or that, this or that, this or that. Cut off, hard to access, feel distant or absent, effortful based on past data. So when you keep creating from past data, guess what? You keep replicating the past. Reactive, figure it out, overthinking, mental looping, and I have to make this work. So this is where most people are living most of the time. And it is very three-dimensional. It's like, I'm here, my goal is here, and I'm going to get there. Versus like multidimensional, where all things become possible. We'll get to the other body in a moment in more detail. That binary thinking, that fear thinking, that this or that thinking, like this is not a creative place. This is not a place where you get to receive from the universe. So, again, you can switch from that to this in 90 seconds, your creation body or your potential body. Potential body is actually my favorite word for it. Let's just go ahead and change that right now. You get to watch me do admin. Your potential body. This is where universal intercourse happens. Universal intercourse. When you're in your potential body, when you're in your parasympathetic nervous system, this is where you experience calm, ease, openness, spacious focus. Now, I'm sure everybody can think of a time where they've experienced this. You know what that feels like. Maybe it's hard to access sometimes. Calm, ease, openness, spacious focus. Your prefrontal cortex is upregulated. Integration of networks. So now it's not just the amygdala that's firing off a fear response. Your brain is like the hemispheres of your brain are communicating with one another. You have access to your creative and your logical side. You have access to all the parts of your body. You have access to the proprioception in your body. Like everything turns on. I'm going to get into like go further down the list. I might be duplicating things that it says, but everything turns on. And I don't know if you've ever heard the thing about indigenous people, how they would keep their hair long because they can feel, I'm getting chills talking about this, but they can feel like from the ends of their hair, like their hair is part of their proprioceptive nervous system. Like, and I have experienced that before. I'm experiencing it right now, actually, as I'm talking about it and stroking my hair. And so this is what happens when you're in your potential body. All of those nerve endings turn on, and not in a way that's overwhelming, but in a way that's like curious and interested. And uh, things become accessible and your intuition turns on because you're not just, again, in that amygdala or in that binary thinking. Okay. So integration of networks, creative insight, Deep, slow, diaphragmatic breath. Take a breath right now. Do it. Fucking do it. Expanded, flowing meridians and open chakras. Expansive, nuanced, multidimensional awareness. Strong, clear, spontaneous insight. Feels present, supportive, aligned. Effortless, inspired, often nonlinear or downloaded. So this is where your antenna opens. And this is when you get like the insights from whatever it is you believe in, the universe, or just what like the world around you. This is when I had a teacher say one time that 90% of what is around us like is unseen. Like we're seeing only 10% of what exists. And this opens up your, again, your awareness and your proprioception and your nerves and your intuition to that other 90%. So now you're like in contact with, all the magic, all the vitality, all the electricity that's buzzing and existing around you. Feel it through inner knowing, clear guidance, and I'm being shown the way. So instead of like having to make it fucking work, having to force it, now it's opening. The path is opening in front of you. And when I don't want to say the path, when a path opens to you when you're in this state, it's just interesting and it's just fun and it's curious and it's cool and it feels like the journey. So this is why you fucking care about your nervous system when it comes to manifestation. This is why you care. So this and tracking. And I'm not going to go too deep into tracking right now. So that's the first step of ecstatic manifestation is clearing the space. So it's like clearing the space of your nervous system, your body, all the shit that gets held there, and also clearing I would say the space of awareness. That's what the tracking is. Like when you start noticing the things that you keep doing over and over again, they not always automatically, but like with that awareness, now you have choice. And that will often clear those things on their own. So then step two is uh, connecting to true desire. And that's been the primary thing I've been doing in these videos. I've been doing them through the emotional body primarily. I'm not going to go into that at this moment. Now, I have flipped 3 and 5 multiple times. So I'm going to say it this way, and then it might be different from what's in my book. But step 3 is aligned action. I changed my hair. I got my coffee. So step 3 is aligned action. And I've spoken about that in other videos. I'm not going to go deeply into that right now, but it is finding what matches the frequency of what you want to call in and doing more of that. Doing it immediately, doing it as often as possible. 4 is your saboteur. Now, I could have chosen to go with 3 aligned action as the thing I haven't focused on yet, because I really haven't focused on it. And Saboteur is like kind of a spinoff of what happens after you start doing the aligned action. So when you are like, okay, I want to feel relaxed, I'm going to start doing things that help me feel relaxed. And then you keep doing a bunch of things that make you tense. Your saboteur, that's, one of your saboteurs, and that bitch is like, mm-mm, mm-mm. And I could go more deeply into that, why she does that. She's keeping you safe. He or she is keeping you safe because safety to your saboteur looks like what you've always done. So there are ways to get that bitch straight. And so then the fifth step, this is what I'm doing here today, is besides going off about the sympathetic nervous system and parasympathetic, is congruence. And this is the biggest factor. This is actually the only factor that is keeping you from your desires. So in my world, I speak about it from different in different ways. But the biggest thing is if your mind, your emotions, your body are all asking for different things, you are sending out chaotic, confusing signals. That's okay. That's pretty normal, actually. You can send out chaotic, confusing signals. But when you want something deeply and keep not getting it, that's the reason. And so there are ways to clear that up. Some of the ways in my journals and in my books are related to the like mental, emotional, physical body. I've done some of those in here. Some of them are related to the senses, so getting all the senses congruent. That's another way to do it. And what I'm doing with you today is through the chakras. And this is interesting. I did not pre-do any of this. Like I already said, I'm going to do it with you and see what happens. Now, just to tell you up front what I'm going to do. So I'm going to touch. So first I'm going to go to the head, um, just for my mental space. Then I'm going to go to heart, fire, water, earth, throat, and then just check in. And in each place, I'm going to tune in and I'm going to ask. So I'm going to take one desire through this whole story. And first, I'm going to tune into the place, and then I'm going to allow that place in my body to speak that desire. Now, it is very normal for the desire to change as you go to each place. And that's what's interesting. And it's very normal for each place to have a different relationship to that desire. That's very normal. And that is, again, we're creating congruence. So this is where you get to see what isn't congruent, or, the heart is going to want something probably different from what the mind wants and probably different from what the water chakra wants, right? And if you're not familiar with the chakras, I will say a little bit about each one. But the first place is the noggin. So this is usually what we're speaking from most of the time, and you are 100% welcome to follow along with this at home. Just, pause when you need to, sink into your own experience, and see what you come up with. What desire does my head want to work with today? My deep love, one of them, is teaching the elements of polarity, which are in line with the chakras. They're the same elemental frequencies of as the chakras. Like that's, internal, external, micro, macro. And so the desire that I want to work with today, and let me actually bring my hands to my head. This is part of it, is making physical contact. I want to be teaching a rolling 6-week course. I really would actually like it to be in person. I would like at least 6 people there, where we meet once every 2 weeks and I take them through the elements as it relates to manifestation and creation. And I call it Seed of the Sorceress. I really love that name, and I've been playing with that name for the last few months. So that's the desire I have. Okay, now I'm going to go to my heart. So first I'm going to bring my hands to my heart. You're not going to be able to see it. It's okay. Trust me, they're there. And I'm going to just tune into the space first. And I want to notice what's the difference? What do I feel in my holistic energy shift when I go from focusing at my head to focusing at my heart? So one, it's much slower. My head is moving really fast right now, my mind. And I was really settled into my heart space a lot yesterday. So it's easy to access for me. It's very tender, soft, fuzzy feeling, just like, sweet, like in a fuzzy blanket. This place feels like a fuzzy blanket. And then I want to also just check out what sound does my heart make? Like if I were speaking in a voice representative of my heart space in this moment, because this can change every time you do it, what would it sound like? And I'm kind of naturally getting there, like just a softer, sweet voice. And that's, I'm good. That's good. And so related to the same desire, what does my heart want? So my heart actually had a picture more than words. But it's the feeling of, and I've had this when I've been teaching things that I love teaching. And there's some, like I'm getting a picture that I'm pretty sure I've gotten from a cartoon or something, but it's like there's a person and all of the like colors of the rainbow are kind of coming through the person from behind. And like that's what's, pushing the person forward. And it's that feeling when I'm in a teaching space and like my guidance is available and I feel like when I've done my best teaching, I've had other teachers, I've mentioned before, like it was very common for other teachers to be in like each other's classes at the school where I taught the most. And I would have other teachers be like, wow, that was really good. And I like almost can't take credit. And I'm not a naturally just like humble person for the sake of being humble, but I'm like, no, it's literally just like my channel is coming through me. That's the feeling that my heart is asking for in this, like my channel coming through me. And, I'm being fed by that which is greater than me. And it's coming through my lens and my prism into the world in the way that lights us all. Lights whoever's engaged, whoever's participating. So that was my heart's desire. And now I'm going to go to my fire chakra. So this is the solar plexus. This is at the bottom of the rib cage in the front. Put my hands there first, and I want to check in with the sound or the voice here. And she's a little more, I feel like she's got some shit to say. I don't know. I don't know if we have time for that right now, but um she likes the attention though. She's into it. I've also been I'll leave that for another time. Um so yeah, she's liking the attention. I'm a Leo moon and Leo north node. So I do have some prominent Leo. This is the place of Leo in the body, if you didn't know. I have some prominent Leo in my chart and she's like, I've been waiting for you. I've been looking for you, lady. Okay. So, fire, solar plexus, Leo. Uh, how does this part of my body, how does my fire chakra, my fire element relate to my desire? Oh, okay. That came in real quick. She's tired of waiting. She's fucking tired of waiting. She has all this fire. I mean, it's like I'm not getting it as a picture, but it's related to the like what I was seeing in the heart. Like all this fucking energy, all this shit to do, all this shit to say, all this life to build, and it's not fucking here. Like, and there's all this potential energy just like waiting to be fucking put into the world, and like, what the fuck? So, ready. That's what that's what my fire is feeling. I guess I didn't say anything really about the chakras in general. So I'll just review. So the heart is like the place of unconditionality, unconditional love. The fire is the place of will, motivation, action. And if you know anything about astrology, just think Leo. Likes the attention, wants to be in motion, wants to be moving, like muscle energy, fire energy. Mm. Okay, so it feels so far like these, my mind, my heart, and my fire are in alignment, which is I don't know that I was expecting that. So Interesting. Okay. So now water. So water is in the lower belly. And I've put my hands there. And this is the sacral chakra. Sacral chakra is related to, I mean, I think of fire and water as kind of opposites. Like the sacral chakra is, I mean, it's about receiving, it's about sensuality, but it's where creation happens. This is where babies grow in the belly, if you can think about it like that. So think about like the energetic version of that. It's the sexuality, the sensuality. And when I have done this practice with myself in the past, this has actually been one of the hardest areas for me to, not hardest, one of the slowest areas for me to tune to. So let me get in there a little and first notice the sound or the voice that's coming from this area. Well, similar but different to the fire, her voice is like strong, clear. She's also ready. Like I just feel like a readiness. There's all the like I said it in the fire, but just all this potential energy. Um, and she wants to be in motion, but she wants to be like in this like hip, if you're watching and you can see my shoulders, but like she wants this but with the hips. So I'm gonna do this afterward to honor this. And okay, let me get in a little bit deeper here. And this is a good place to get deeper because the water is deep and the water is also resource. So the the air and the heart, air which is in the heart, um is like in manifestation is the place of like ideas, possibility, things like that, organization. The fire, again, is the place of action, movement, motivation, clarity, focus. So if any of these stand out as like where you're struggling, then if you do this practice, you could focus in these spots. So water, I've already said like this is the place where creation happens, like the thing grows, but it's also the place of resource. So if you think of water in nature, like water is a resource to what surrounds it. And this is a place of like receiving from outside of you. So fire is like what you do. But guess what? If you're manifesting shit, you want to be receiving also. Like sometimes you need to ask for help. Sometimes you need something from outside of you. Most often, if it's anything big, you need help from outside of you. So this is that place. And that's a place for me that I'm challenged for sure. I have, deeply connected with my sensuality and sexuality at different points in my life. I am naturally a creator, and I can receive. It's not necessarily easy for me. I kind of just like let it happen, I guess, and then but asking for help or knowing what outside of me could be the most helpful is not my strongest. That's not my strongest. So, okay, so let me get back in here a little. So water. Um, so I was feeling the readiness and now I'm feeling the appreciation of that acknowledgement. And the whole area has kind of I feel a lot of sensation now. I feel my sacrum lit up. I mean, dude, everything does better, gets stronger with attention. So wield your attention for good. Your attention might be your most precious asset. And these parts of our body like want attention too. And sometimes just bringing attention there gets them going. When I used to, I mean, I've told you I've took cranial sacral, taught cranial sacral, was in cranial sacral with other teachers. And this was over from 2007 until 2019. So for 12 solid years. And after maybe the first, I don't even know if it was a year, but after the first little stretch, anytime I would sit in a cranial class and someone else would be lecturing about anatomy, I would feel those parts of my cranial anatomy respond. So if there's something you're wanting to respond to you, start giving it some attention. If there's some positive kind of response you're wanting, start giving it attention. If there's a negative kind of response you want to stop getting, stop giving it as much attention. Like, where can you put your attention to activate the thing you want to activate? So, okay, water. Apparently, I have a lot to say while I'm in the water space. I don't know if I'm avoiding it or just um, if it's just conjuring a lot. So, yeah, I'm still feeling sensation, still feeling my sacrum. I feel like the whole bowl of my pelvis, and now the sensation is like moving down my inner thighs. And it's just like a nice warm sensation, and it feels like I can breathe, and also like I have not been sitting in my pelvis for years, and suddenly I just like dropped into my pelvis, which just feels really good. Like my whole upper body could just relax. Oh my God, wow. Okay. I don't know if she has a lot of words left in the moment. Like she's got a lot of sensation, which definitely lets me know I want to be bringing like intention here more often. And for me, dancing is one of the best ways to do that. So, like I said, I'm definitely going to do that afterward. And if you don't have energetic access to your water chakra, you're going to struggle. Everything's going to feel like a fight. This is also the element that most deeply relates to the parasympathetic nervous system as well, which we talked about at the top of the call. Okay, so let me just, as a reminder to myself, remember what was my desire to start before I get to the earth chakra. Um, and I keep feeling chills like all through my body. That's just a really good sign. And okay, so I mean, it's teaching these 6 week, well, 12 week, but six class rolling um, Seed of the Sorceress journeys live with at least 6 people because I want to do shit like this with people and I want to like move with people. And being in the room is so different from being on a call. Can do a lot on a call, but I want to be in real life. Okay. So, Earth. Earth in the manifestation journey is where it makes its way to the earth plane. It becomes manifest. It's here. And at a chakra level, it's at your perineum or taint, if you know that word better, very bottom of your torso. If you're seated on the floor with an upright spine, it's what's touching the earth. So you can bring your hands there. I can bring my hands there. How about that? And my earth is feeling a bit matter of fact in the moment in tone of voice. And so I'm kind of playing with the question as I tend to this place, like, okay, it's done. Like, how does that sit? And what came up is fear. And it was fear of the wrong people, which is very interesting. And earth, the negative pole of the earth chakra is fear. The positive pole is stability, security, safety. So it's interesting that I didn't have necessarily an emotion come up in the other places, but when I tried to settle into the idea that it was done, it was like, I have some ideas of places I could ask to start teaching, and I think they would say yes. And then the fear of like it being the wrong people and it being Okay, let me tune back in. Instead of talking about it, I'll listen again. Earth moves slowly, by the way. So if this pause is longer, that's why. It seems this is also like I haven't been feeling a whole lot of grief since I did the grief video, but I am feeling it in this place. And, Earth is the foundation upon which we build. So it's very interesting that this is where these things are coming up. I'm not going to try to force it. I'm just noticing those are there. And then I am getting sensation as well. I'm getting like a pulsing, which means energy is flowing there, which is good. So if I'm talking about my congruence story, everything above the earth chakra that I've checked in with so far is on board. And then my foundation is like lacking trust. Um, and I kind of would say to that, like, it doesn't have to be right away. Like I can activate those other things without it being correct. Like I can get into teaching. I can just start teaching. I can just start inviting people that I can teach. And I'm checking in if there's a response to that. Hmm. I'm getting like a feeling, I'm still getting a lot of sensation. Again, still good. Like our energy's moving. But this is where I'm coming up with like the limitations. This is where the limitations have been living. And if you're an astrology person, I'm a Taurus and Uranus just came out of Taurus, so it's not surprising that I'm having earth earthly stability questions because of what I've experienced in the last 7 to 8 years. Uh, okay. So I just got to a place of like willingness. It feels like a willingness. Like, okay, I'm willing to try again. I'm willing to try again. And that's good enough for the rest of me at this moment. And I do want to do one more check-in. So the throat chakra. So this is ether. Ether is space. Ether is communication. Ether as an element contains all the other elements. And in the body, it's the avenue of expression for all the other elements. So let me just check in here. What is the sound? It's a little breathy. Oh, she's feeling a little, I don't know if coy is the right word, but like playful. There's some playfulness here. Yeah, that's all I got is playful. And so if I, as my own practitioner, am putting this whole picture together, what I would say is probably the antidote to what I was feeling in my root chakra is to honor what is going on with the rest of them. Like my throat is feeling playful, my heart is ready for things to come through me, which I did in this call. Like I'm feeling all those tingles, I'm feeling the energy move through me, I'm feeling my channel open. Like this is like I'm talking about giving yourself what you need now. Don't wait. Doing these videos and these calls where I'm getting all these chills, like that is me doing it now. I'm doing it right now. My fire's ready to go. My water's ready to go. My water wants to dance, so I'm gonna go give it a little dance to help move that shit and probably go into a somatic practice. But again, like if I give myself like a whole picture of what I just experienced and how to create greater congruence, it's to let all those other parts of me get what they need, and that's going to start building the trust in my earth. And my earth isn't just correct. It's not like it's not coming through as like a warning sign. It's just afraid. It's had a, bad experience, which is okay. So we're gonna show it that it's safe by being playful and finding ways our energy moves through us and being in motion like the fire wants and dancing like the water wants and being in sensation and being and like giving attention to the things that we want to give attention to. I am going to hold myself to getting to the action part soon. But again, I want this one to integrate. And this was a fun one. Sometimes other things come up that are like quite distinctively different. You're like, wow, my mind and my water chakra do not want the same things at all. In this case, they're pretty aligned. All right, that's enough for now. See you next time.